Welcome guys to our first chapter on our history of philosophy. We'll be talking about the Presocratic philosophy, especially we'll be talking about the Milesians. Okay, so first of all, why are they called the Presocratics? It's pretty easy. Actually, Presocratics comes from before Socrates. That's pretty simple. Now, these philosophers said very different things, but they were all looking for one thing: the Arche. Now, Arche is a Greek word that practically means the beginning, the principles. You can look at it in our English word archaeology. You know, it's the study of the beginnings. But why these philosophers were looking for the Arche? Actually, why were they looking for the Arche? People usually look for cars, money, fame, glory. To answer this question, we have to go back to what they saw in the world. Now, imagine yourself looking up in the sky, and suddenly you see an arrow moving, and then it hits the ground. Now, what you would usually do, imagine that you would turn your heads towards the source of the arrow, towards the beginning of that movement of the arrow, towards the arche of the movement of the arrow. The thing is, these philosophers didn't see an arrow moving. They saw multiple arrows moving. They saw stars, they saw rivers, they saw animals, they saw human beings. They saw everything moving. But what's the origin in all of this movement? Now, this has been a question that humankind has always asked itself, but there were several answers to this question. One answer was given by mythology and religion. But these philosophers didn't search for that kind of an answer. These philosophers were trying to find the answer to this question in nature with the only use of reason. Now, the first Presocratics were the Milesians that came from the city of Miletus. This city is actually located in the western coast of the actual country, Turkey. Now, the three main Milesian philosophers were Thales, Anaximander, and Anaximenes. Now, these were the founding fathers of philosophy, but also of science. These philosophers also conceived the Arche as the main component that underlies all of reality. Now, let's go see what each of these Milesian philosophers said the Arche was. Thales. Thales was the first philosopher to give an answer to this important question. What is the main component that underlies all of reality? And the answer of Thales was, drum roll please, water. What? Yes, water. Now, I know what you're thinking. It's stupid. It's not stupid. If you come to think of it, there wouldn't be any life if it weren't for water. So Thales was partially right when he thought that everything had its origin in water. Think about it, guys. Every single form of life needs water to live and to survive. Now, even though this seems like a pretty simple idea, Thales was a pioneer of philosophy and science. Now let's talk about the second Milesian, Anaximander, that was a disciple of Thales. Now, Anaximander wasn't satisfied with the answer that Thales gave because he didn't explain how, from water, everything came to be in reality. So Anaximander was looking for a principle, a natural principle that constitutes all of reality, that needed to be indefinite in order to become everything. So this indefinite principle it was what Anaximander called the Apeiron. And how did all the things in the world, in all its diversity, came from the Apeiron? Well, Anaximander said that it came from the separation of the opposites. Now, what does the separation of the opposite means? Actually, from the Apeiron emerged in couples these opposites, like hot and cold and humid and dry.
You're hot and you're cold, you're yes then you're no, you're in then you're out.
That way, the whole world got constituted from these opposites. So as you can see, guys, there has been some progress from what Thales said to what Anaximander said. But we still have some way to go. So let's go see what Anaximander's disciple said. That disciple is called Anaximenes. Anaximenes gave his own theory about the fundamental principle of all nature, and that fundamental principle was the air. From this fundamental principle, just like from the Apeiron, emerged all of the things in the world, but not as a separation of the opposites, like Anaximander said, but from two processes, rarefaction and condensation. Anaximenes said that from rarefaction of the air came elements like the fire. While from the condensation of the air, first came the clouds, then came water, then from water came the earth, from the earth came the stones. Now, why was this such an interesting idea? If you think about it, humans need air to live. Now, you can see these in the Greek word for spirit and lungs. Those come from the same word, pneuma. Now, for Anaximenes, the world was a huge living thing. So, the air was like the breath of this spirit of the world. And with it, all living things. Now, guys, we have talked about the first three Presocratic philosophers, and with it, the three first philosophers of our history. Now, if you want to learn more, go down in the description, we'll leave some files, because obviously we haven't said all of it. There's more to this story. So if you want to learn more, don't forget, go in the description, we'll leave the files there so you can keep studying on the Presocratic philosophy. Guys, we'll see you next time. Have a good day.